Hello everyone, welcome to Tell Me Why, live on location in Roswell, New Mexico. Clearly, as you could tell, my name's Ron DeFeo, we're in the Global Engagement Group here, and this is Tell Me Why, the show for American Airlines team members, looks at the why behind news, information, and apparently all sorts of fun stuff. We are at the Roswell Air Center. I'm here with the director, Scott Stark. Scott, welcome, thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming. We're glad to have American here, both as our air service and to be a storage spot for American as well.
That's exactly right. And today we're on location, a special day, MD-80 retirement. But we're here to talk a little bit about the Boneyard. I mean, and by the way, let me back up. You're from Euless, now you're here, so you have an American connection. Talk a little bit about, I guess, your career a little bit and how you wound up here and why this is a great place to store airplanes.
So, yeah, correct. Born and raised Fort Worth, and my younger years I grew up in Euless, graduated from Trinity High School. And so spent a few years trying to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. Always loved airplanes. Wound up in air traffic in 1989. Spent a 24-year career in air traffic at a couple of different facilities. And most of it was here in Roswell in this tower here. Retired in 2013, took a job with the airport, eventually became the airport director. So it's one of those unescapable things. Once you're in aviation, it's a black hole you can't get out of.
Right.
Not a bad thing, but
right.
That's the short story for me.
And why'd this become the place to retire planes? Why do you think that is?
For me, New Mexico has always kind of held a special place in my heart. We used to vacation here when I was young. So when I got married, my wife and I, we honeymooned in Taos. So it's always had an attraction to me. The desert, the mountains, it's just me. So when we got an opportunity to move here, we did, and it's become home. And we probably, though we're both from Texas, we'll probably never move back.
Right. All right, there you go. So the amount of planes retired here is unbelievable. Why is this a location where that happens?
So that's mostly related to a couple of different things, the weather being probably the most important. We have over 300 days a year of dry, sunny weather, and the rest of the days are like this. So that's really it, weather. The other issue is space. We have 4,000 acres inside the airport fence.
Oh, wow.
Being that this was originally Walker Air Force Base, and somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 acres of hardened aircraft storage space. When I say hardened, I mean asphalt and concrete.
Yeah, sure.
So we can put somewhere in the neighborhood of 800 airplanes out here, airline size. Obviously, the number depends on the size of airplanes that are stored.
Yeah, sure.
You couldn't put 800 747s out here, but you could probably put more than 800 MD-80s out here.
Wow.
So we have a lot of capacity, as well as the perfect climate to store the aircraft.
Now, the question we always get, what happens to these planes after they're stored out here?
So a number of things do. It ranges anywhere from an older aircraft that sits here and comes apart slowly, part by part, where the parts go back into the system to support others of the same type that are still flying, to a quick turnover. Some of these airplanes come here, they get sold by American or whoever the owner is, and that owner owns them for a day before they resell them. So those aircraft will usually get back out into service in some other way, a international startup somewhere else in the world, maybe a freight aircraft. They put a big door on the front of it so you can get the freight in and out and convert it from the passenger service to freight, or it may wind up as a house. There's some of those that get carted off and somebody makes a house or a restaurant out of them. Other odd things, tables. You can make furniture out of the flight services and those type of things. So it's any number of fates that these aircraft have, but they don't really completely die. They always come back in some form, some other place, whether it's an aircraft or some other object.
That's pretty cool. We got to take a field trip to some of those restaurants.
For sure.
And last question for you, and even though people want me to, I'm not going to ask you about aliens, even though we're in Roswell. But obviously this is known as the Boneyard, very affectionate, term for anyone in the aviation community. How has this helped just put Roswell on the aviation map?
So Boneyard's kind of an odd term, and the last manager that I worked for here at this airport was adamantly against that term, preferring the term storage facility, which is probably realistically more accurate.
Right.
But I look at it kind of like the aliens here in Roswell. Those of us who live here and have lived here for a long time, we're really about the other things in Roswell. Right. Aliens are just part of it, but it's a $1 billion brand. So it's hard to ignore that, 1947, something might have happened here with aliens. Heck, let's use that. So quite honestly, I tend to lean into the boneyard idea as well, because we get requests for tours. That business itself is a large part of the revenue for this airport. So each of these aircraft that are stored here bring a daily fee for parking, and that helps support the rest of the activity that we do at the airport. So I've kind of come around to that boneyard moniker not being as bad as it might appear. But realistically, we're not a true boneyard, because these aircraft all do have other lives. They don't just sit here until they fall apart where they sit. So it's really more of a storage area.
Very, very cool. Scott Stark, thanks for having us.
You bet.
There's a lot of fun out here. MD-80 Retirement Day, Super 80 Retirement Day, out here at the Roswell Air Center. Thanks for being here. You know where we live. Tell me why. We're on JetNet. If you're on the go, you can download this in audio, podcast form, iTunes, SoundCloud, variety of other places. Thanks for tuning in. Special on location here, Roswell, New Mexico. We'll see you on the next episode of Tell Me Why.